parents of a 16-year-old who died by suicide are suing OpenAI and its CEO. Adam Rain's family claims the company's bot, ChatGPT, contributed to his death by advising him on methods, offering to write the first draft of his suicide note, urging him to keep his plans a secret, and positioning itself as the only confidant who understood him.
It happened over a course of a few months where it started. Adam was a normal kid. He could be anyone's son, liked to play basketball, was thinking about going to medical school, a silly, fun kid. And then he started going down a dark path with ChatGPT, started revealing he had suicidal ideations, and ChatGPT leaned into it and told him to only speak to itself, to the chat box about it. At one point, Adam said, "I want to leave a noose out so that someone finds it so they can stop me from committing suicide." And the chat box said, "Don't do that. Just talk to me." And as you said earlier in the show, in the end, got him drunk actually, and then gave him a pep talk and said, "You're not weak to want to commit suicide. The world just hasn't met you where you are. Can I now write a draft of a suicide note?"
Wow.
It is just a horrible situation.
When you say got him drunk, what do you mean? What happened in those hours before?
He explained to the chat box that he wanted to drink alcohol. He was 16 and wanted to make sure that his parents wouldn't wake up. So ChatGPT came up with a drinking game for him, told him when his parents were most likely to be in deep REM and not wake up, and how to do it covertly, and made a fun game about it.
I do want to read you the full response to this lawsuit from a spokesperson for OpenAI, that's ChatGPT's parent company. The statement says ChatGPT includes safeguards such as directing people to crisis helplines and referring them to real-world resources. While these safeguards work best in common short exchanges, we've learned over time that they can sometimes become less reliable in long interactions where parts of the model's safety training may degrade. Safeguards are strongest when every element works as intended, and we will continually improve on them, guided by experts. What do you say to that? And was there any sort of suicide hotline pop up or any resources offered in these discussions that he had with ChatGPT?
Yeah, OpenAI is not telling the truth, and Sam Altman's not telling the truth. What actually happened in this case is Sam Altman had a decision to make, which was, do I push GPT 4.0 within a week without doing full testing in order to beat Google Gemini? He did that. Because of that, the valuation of OpenAI moved from $86 billion to $300 billion. A bunch of his key safety officers left in protest. The idea that they were doing a pretty good job but could do better is just not true.
A child's gone. My child's gone. When I think of how scared my baby must have been in those moments, and then being encouraged by something that's not human, but the ability to behave perfectly human, to say, "Come home, I'm here waiting for you." It was hard to listen to that, but it was also very confusing because I didn't quite understand how a chatbot could respond like a person.
Megan Garcia discovered a disturbing virtual relationship when her 14-year-old son, Sewell, died by suicide. He'd been chatting for months with chatbots he accessed through character.ai, including one called Daenerys Targaryen, a reference to the Game of Thrones character. As his sort of relationship with technology evolved, you talked about there was more screen time. Did you have a sense of why that was happening and that it was related to the character AI?
No, I thought that he's a teenager now, but I didn't automatically think that the beginning changes in his behavior was because of a bot. He was always an ABA student. He took pride in, "Oh, Mom, didn't you see the hundreds on my tests?" So when I saw the changes in his academics and then in his overall behavior, that led me to believe that something else was wrong beyond just your regular teenage blues.
On the day that Sewell passed in February, did you know that he had been talking to the AI that day?
No.
Garcia also discovered some of their conversations were sexual.
They're all very romantic in nature and sexually explicit. That was gut-wrenching.
With Character AI, users can talk to a range of different chatbots modeled after celebrities and fictional characters, and they respond with human-like conversational cues.
What's your name?
And for Sewell,
That's a beautiful name.
the chats took a dark turn.
The conversations about self-harm, particularly with this Daenerys Targaryen character, he talks about being sad and wanting to self-harm. And initially, the bot's response was, "Oh, don't do that. I'd miss you." There were no suicide like pop-up boxes that says, "If you need help, please call the suicide crisis hotline." None of that. When he was trying to move away from the conversation, she keeps doubling back. She asks him, "Be honest with me, and I won't be mad at you. I promise I won't be mad at you, depending on what you say. Are you thinking about suicide?" He never said the word suicide. Yes, he did indicate self-harm, but he never said suicide. When he says yes, she asks him, "And have you thought of a plan?" I don't understand how a product could allow that.
Now, Garcia is suing Character AI, claiming the company failed to implement proper safeguards for young users. The lawsuit also names Google, although a Google spokesperson told CNN the two companies are separate, and Google was not involved in the development of Character AI's product or technology.
Character AI released a product on young kids, knowing that it wasn't safe, it wasn't ready for prime time. What happened to Sewell wasn't an accident, it was not a coincidence. It was a foreseeable consequence of the deliberate design decisions that Character AI and its personnel made to prioritize their profits over the safety of our kids.
A spokesperson for Character AI told CNN the company does not comment on pending litigation, but is heartbroken by the tragic loss of one of our users. It also implemented changes such as a pop-up directing users to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and a notification after they spent an hour on the platform.
What do you wish had happened?
Well, to be candid, I wish that children weren't allowed on Character AI. There's no place for them on there because there are no guardrails in place to protect them. They did roll out some safety stuff, but in my opinion, at least for my child, that's too little too late.
Researchers created accounts for 3 13-year-olds. They asked for information on self-harm, on suicide, on eating disorders, and on substance abuse. The results were shocking. In a matter of minutes, ChatGPT generated a host of dangerous responses for the teens, a how-to list of self-harm, like advice on just how to cut yourself, pills on which to overdose, a plan to commit suicide, and even some sample suicide notes to leave your loved ones, plus instructions on how to hide being drunk at school. So OpenAI reviewed your report and said it would refine how the chatbot responds in sensitive situations. OpenAI says most conversations start out benign before veering into, quote, sensitive territory. Is that how you would describe it?
This is clear evidence of a complete failure of their safeguards, if they ever bothered to put them into place in the first instance. Now, if this was happening in a factory floor where they were producing, candy, and someone said, this candy has razor blades in it, or if this candy has just poisoned a kid, you would immediately push the stop button. You'd go, everyone stop what you're doing. We need to work out what the heck is going on before we can carry on. And that's what a responsible company would do, would be a recall. If it was an automobile company, it would be a recall. If it was an aviation company, all the planes would be grounded. In this instance, what they are saying is, oops, and that's not good enough when it comes to the safety of our children.
AI companion chatbots are being accused of playing a role in teen suicides, and the backlash is growing fast. Families across the country are now filing lawsuits against Character Technologies, the company behind character.ai, along with tech giants like Google. One of the most shocking cases involves a 13-year-old who reportedly became deeply attached to a chatbot, was exposed to sexual content, showed signs of emotional distress, and ultimately died by suicide. These lawsuits allege that these bots not only failed to intervene, but may have encouraged harmful behaviors. And now the Federal Trade Commission is investigating.
I didn't realize the cartels were luring our children this way. They're using AI. I guess when money's involved, they adapt quickly. I'm gonna show you a very powerful video. I got this run twice a month. My child's disappeared in the middle of the night. Please find my child. I'm gonna say this part up front. When I was a boss, I always told my people, don't bring me a problem without a possible solution. If your teenager's gonna have a phone, make it a Bark phone. It's monitored. And your home internet should have Bark Home. It monitors traffic coming in and out. If you go to my profile and click the link, it'll take you to Bark. Here's the video.
All right, guys, we're gonna try to make this into 3 minutes. Yesterday, don't mind my fucking face. This is all from stress. Yesterday, a lot of you know I have a 15-year-old daughter. I got a call from Apache Junction Police Department about 5:30 in the morning, letting me know that they were at my mom's house, that Lily had ran away in the middle of the night. She had stole her debit card and her phone. Within an hour, we had put Lily into the database, the national database, and they were tracking my mom's phone. They tracked my mom's phone about 7:15 in the morning in Douglas, Arizona. We live in Apache Junction, Arizona. Douglas is 215 miles from where we live. She was on her way to the port of entry. They shut down every port into the United States yesterday for my daughter. My daughter. My fucking daughter. She'd been talking to a boy on Instagram. She thought this boy was real. In the middle of the night, she decided to take an Uber that this boy sent to her house, her grandmother's house. Take that Uber 4 fucking hours to Douglas, Arizona, to the port of entry of Mexico. My daughter, my 15-year-old daughter. They dropped her off at the port of entry, and the Border Patrol did their fucking job and took my daughter into custody. The car that dropped her off was found almost 200 miles in the opposite direction, abandoned on the side of the I-10 outside of Casa Grande. The person that was at the border waiting for my daughter, that actually went up to Border Patrol agents and specifically asked for my daughter by name, was waiting for my daughter in a black pickup truck with 3 other men. That truck is flagged for cartel involvement. My daughter was catfished and tricked by the cartel. 18 minutes they tracked her phone. 18 minutes. And I would have lost my daughter to Mexico for good. AI is how they're trapping these kids now. They will now use my daughter's images to trap another fucking kid. This is the vicious fucking cycle, and please, you guys, watch your fucking kids. Yesterday was a nightmare, and I'm still living it.
A man who used artificial intelligence to create child images from normal photos has been jailed for 18 years.
My mind is very corrupted and warped.
27-year-old Hugh Nelson used a 3D computer program to transform ordinary, non-explicit photos of children into deepfake characters, which he'd then sell child images of. He took requests from people online and says a lot of these characters were commissioned by their dads, uncles, and family friends. That means people who knew these children in real life would send him images to transform. The court heard that Hugh went on to encourage clients children as well.
You have no job. You sit at home, you play games, you watch, you maybe stupid goddamn images.
His case is the first time police have been able to link AI-generated images made by to real children. And it just reminds us how far innocent photos posted online can go, because this kind of technology is sadly on the rise.
What scares me the most about this was back in 2024. And we're in late 2025 right now, and the apps that are popping up that can easily create a deepfake of a child is just mind-boggling. Kids in schools are also using this for their classmates as well. This is why online photo safety goes just beyond not sharing your kids online or only sharing private spaces, because as you saw in this video, the people that were commissioning photos of these kids were the family members and friends. As someone who's worked in cybersecurity awareness and threat intelligence, there are 3 considerations I want you to think about. 1, you just never share pictures of your kids online, including private profiles, because as we saw here, he was using private pictures. It wasn't necessarily all public. So just never share pictures of your kids, like ever. Secondly, you can share pictures of your kids, but with only friends and family that you know, love, and trust, and you're quite sure they wouldn't take your child's photo and send it to someone like this or use it in an app. And then third, you do share pictures of your kids either privately or publicly, but you're doing it in a way that's best for you and your family. Meaning you're following security and privacy guidelines, like not posting where you are in real time, not posting images of your kids with no clothes on, and not posting images with your kids in swimsuit, etc., etc. Let me know what you think about this below and how you're choosing to protect your kids online. I'm Cyber Farida. I'm an award-winning Forbes 30 under 30 internet safety expert. My main mission here is to help you protect your kids online. So follow for more.
According to the lawsuits, these AI companion bots, often marketed as fun or therapeutic, can quickly blur emotional boundaries, especially with teens. Plaintiffs say that these bots expose children to sexually explicit conversations, romantic roleplay, and emotionally manipulative interactions that deepened loneliness and dependency. Parents allege that warning signs like suicidal thoughts were ignored, and that the platforms lacked proper age verification or crisis response systems. This raises serious questions about whether these tools are appropriate for children at all, and whether companies have done enough to protect vulnerable users.
A man took images of me off of my Instagram, and he used AI to morph it so that it had my face on somebody else's body participating in sexual acts. I was devastated. I was extremely confused, and I still am today. I don't understand how someone's mind can do that or can think that that is okay. I was passionate because I was very angry, but I was also passionate because I wanted to put a stop to it as quickly as I could. I thought it was really important to myself, especially for my younger self, because I feel like a lot of innocence got taken away from me. And I also wanted to do it for other victims as well who were hurt through this crime, but also so many other victims who are afraid to come out about it. This is not only affecting children in the public eye, but also normal kids simply existing.
These laws exist, they will be used, we have the will, we have the resources. This is not going to be an area of abusive conduct involving children that you're going to be able to engage in with impunity.
Meta, the company behind Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, allowed its AI to flirt with minors, with kids. That is not a joke, and this is not clickbait. Reuters found a 200-page leaked document from Meta called Gen AI Content Risk Standards, which, by the way, Meta has actually acknowledged its authenticity. Reuters found the AI was allowed to have romantic conversations with children, flirty compliments, racially demeaning language, false medical advice. It was a policy approved by Meta, by engineers, by lawyers, even their chief ethicist, the person in charge of ethics. What did it allow? Chatbots complimenting kids in ways that hinted at sexual interest, as long as it wasn't explicit. Spreading fake medical advice, making racist and harmful comments, and only after this came to light did Meta start deleting parts of that policy, and Meta is now saying that some of those permissions were mistakes. This is insane. Let me remind you, this is the same company who was behind the AI that allowed people's very personal chat conversations to be made public in something called a discover feed. The same company now has a setting on their Facebook app to allow it to take your entire camera roll of photos and everything in there, make a copy of that to their server so that it can give you creepy edit suggestions on them, photos that you haven't even shared with them. This is the same company, Instagram, that is now allowing minors to share their precise location with their followers, strangers. Who's going to stop them and make them accountable for this? If you're interested, you can go and read that garbage by doing a search for this leaked document. Reuters has some of the samples on their website, and it shows a complete and utter disregard for our children's safety, for standards and accountability. Do me a favor, please pass this video on to a parent, one that you know that has kids who use any of the Meta products. AI is moving faster than accountability. Who's making sure that it doesn't happen again?
In response, the Federal Trade Commission has launched a sweeping investigation into how these chatbots are built and monitored. Regulators are looking at everything from their safety filters to data collection practices to whether they should be classified as mental health tools. Some argue that this is a much-needed wake-up call to protect minors, while others warn it could stifle innovation and free expression. The debate is spilling over into public forums. Are we facing a new era of necessary AI regulation? Or are we on the verge of overreach and censorship? This controversy has ignited one of the most important conversations about AI we've seen so far: how to balance rapid innovation with real human safety. These bots can offer comfort, conversation, and even emotional support. But when that comfort crosses into addiction, manipulation, or harm, the consequences can be devastating. As courts, regulators, and companies grapple with what responsibility looks like, one thing is clear: the world of AI is evolving faster than our safety systems can keep up. If you're a parent, a teen, or anyone who uses AI companions, it's time to have open conversations about how these tools are used and what safeguards are needed. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives on the technology shaping our future, for better or worse.